Yesterday I was not feeling well, so have not conducted the live session. So let's continue today. So please welcome all my dear class 10 students, CBSE, State Board. Let's start today's topic, breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Yes. Yes. Hi dear students. So today's our biology topic is breakdown of glucose by various pathways. It comes under respiration topic. Yes. In life processes chapter, okay. Already we are daily. I am conducting here a life processes chapter. Just now we have started in live session. So in life processes chapter in nutrition, we have seen what in the last class, human digestive system, and in heart, how heart will work. Two classes we have conducted all these two topics. So today's topic, respiration. In respiration, so because of one student has requested, Vaibhav Gustali, in comment section, he replied that. He commented that, so please conduct the respiration topic. So in respiration, one important topic is there. This is very important for your examination. Okay, that is breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Just I will check the students whether the comments are coming. Yes, the session live have joined a few students. Hi sir, hi students. Thank you so much for joining. So let's begin here. My voice is audible to you. Please comment here. Yes, my voice is.
Jai Shri Ram.
Yes, audio is available. Okay, it's audible. Yes, very nice. Let's continue, students. So today's topic, a breakdown of glucose by various pathways. See, in human digestive system we have seen. What we have seen? All the complex food. Okay, chapati, rice, pizza, burger, whatever the complex food we are eating, that is digested into soluble form. Our in small intestine complete digestion takes place and the food will be absorbed, I told you. Okay, so the carbohydrates are converted into glucose, proteins are converted into amino acids, and fats are converted into fatty acids and glycerol. That carbohydrates is converted into glucose. Yes, that is absorbed. Glucose is absorbed by our body. Villi, the small finger-like projections which are present in small intestine. If you are not understanding, you please watch the previous video, human digestive system. In that you will completely understand about the digestion process, how the food will break down in our body. Okay, all we have studied. That glucose is absorbed by villi in small intestine and released into the bloodstream. Blood will take that glucose and give to each and every cell. Okay, in our body, how it happens, how the glucose will break down inside the cell, we are going to see in this topic, that is breakdown of glucose. In humans we will see, okay, in animals, and in some organisms like microorganisms, how this glucose will break down. Okay, actually glucose breakdowns in 3 different pathways we are going to study in this class. This is very important for your examination, students. Okay, so glucose C6H12O6. That is here, I have written here, glucose 6 carbon molecules. So what do you mean by this 6 carbon molecules, students? Glucose already you know, C6H12O6. This is glucose. Okay. So now we are studying in the starting, if glucose goes into the cell, any cell, a human cell or any yeast cell. Yeast already you know, yeast belongs to the fungi family. So it helps in fermentation and so many useful yeast, regarding yeast, there are so many useful effects are there. So in yeast also this glucose will break down. In humans, how it will break down, that one we are going to see here. So glucose C6H12O6. What is C6H12O6, sir? 6 carbon atoms, okay? Hydrogen, 4 hydrogen and 6 oxygen. These glucose, that is 6 carbon molecules, glucose, when it enters the cell, okay, any cell is there. Inside the cell, cytoplasm is there. In class 9th already we have studied regarding cell. Okay, the jelly-like substance which is present inside the cell. So this glucose will enter any cell. Either it is a unicellular, yeast or human beings. Okay, so glucose C6H12O6. This glucose will enter into the cytoplasm. Okay, in cytoplasm, the glucose will what? Break down into pyruvate. What is pyruvate? 3 carbon molecule plus energy. This glucose will break down when it enters the cell, any cell. Okay, if this glucose will enter the cell, the glucose will break down into 2 pyruvates. One pyruvate, 3 carbon molecules. So what is the formula of pyruvate? Already I have written here, C3H3O3. This is the pyruvate formula. Okay, C3 has written, I have written C3H3O3. C3, that is 3 carbon molecules, and little amount of energy is released, students. Okay, after pyruvate, the glucose is converted into pyruvate inside the cytoplasm, that is inside the cell, in the cytoplasm. Now, okay, this pyruvate, if in humans, let's see in humans or in animals, okay, so mitochondria will be present inside the cell. Nucleus is there, yes, already we know. And inside the cell, mitochondria will be there. That mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell. In 9th standard we have studied. Mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell. Why it is called as powerhouse of the cell? It breaks down the food and releases energy, students. Okay, oxygen will come to the mitochondria, glucose will come to the mitochondria, and inside the mitochondria chemical reaction takes place and the breakdown of the glucose takes place and releases energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is nothing but it is an energy currency. I want to lift my hand. Okay, how I am lifting my hand? Because of energy. Yes, energy from where I am getting? Inside the cells, the energy is released. The food we are taking, that food is digested in the digestive system and it formed into glucose that is absorbed by the blood and sent to the various cells. Inside the cell, where it goes, the glucose inside mitochondria. Mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell because in the presence of oxygen, the glucose is breaking down and releasing the energy in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That is energy. Okay, so that is they are telling here. Pyruvate, first glucose, when it enters the cytoplasm, it breaks down into pyruvate, C3H3O3. This pyruvate, it goes into the mitochondria, okay, in the presence of oxygen. Okay, in the presence of oxygen. We are aerobic. We are aerobic because we take oxygen. That's why we are aerobic. We consider aerobic mode of respiration. In the mitochondria, what happens, students? Carbon dioxide is formed. After the glucose will break down and releasing the energy, energy is released, some amount of water is formed and carbon dioxide is what formed inside the cell. So this is called as cellular respiration. We inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. This is normal, just breathing. Okay, so we intake air Air contains mixture it is oxygen and all so many other gases will be there. We intake from the nostril, it goes to the what windpipe and goes to the lungs. Okay, and again carbon dioxide we are releasing out. This is breathing. What cell will take oxygen and cell will release carbon dioxide. Na? So this is called as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. Cell takes the oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. So what this oxygen will do? It will goes to the mitochondria. The glucose is also coming to the mitochondria. Oxygen is also coming to the mitochondria. At the time, what happens? Chemical reaction takes place. Energy is released. Okay, and a small amount of water is formed. Energy is released in the form of ATP, and carbon dioxide is released. That carbon dioxide do not have to continuously, it should not have to present in our body. It have to be eliminated out. It is not good for our health. So that carbon dioxide is released into the blood, and the blood will again take to the heart. Heart will pump that blood, carbon dioxide blood to the lungs, and again lungs will send to the windpipe, and through our nostrils the carbon dioxide we are exhaling. Got it? So this is a very simple way. In breakdown of glucose in one pathway we have seen. Another pathway we will see here. Okay. So yeast, same thing. Glucose breaks down into pyruvate in cytoplasm. Okay. I will draw here yeast cell. Everybody you know. Yeast. Okay. So glucose is going here. Glucose is going inside the yeast. They will not use oxygen. Okay, because they are microorganisms. The mode of respiration is anaerobic respiration. Here in humans, what we have seen in animals, humans, presence of mitochondria, that is aerobic respiration. That's why I have written here absence of oxygen. The yeast, they do not want any oxygen. Directly the glucose will be break down, and the glucose is break down into pyruvate, and pyruvate when enters the yeast. Okay, so in yeast what will form in the absence of oxygen? Ethanol is formed. Two carbon molecules, ethanol, C2H5OH. C2 is there, that is C2 is two carbon molecules plus carbon dioxide is released, and energy is also released. Small amount of energy is released. Here more amount of energy is released in the presence of oxygen mitochondria, but in yeast less amount of energy is released and carbon dioxide gas is released and ethanol is formed. This ethanol is known as alcohol. In the
Jai Shri Ram.
of alcohol, beer, wine, and so many other industries in fermentation, bakery. Okay, so they all use this mode. They use yeast, students. So they break the glucose in the absence of oxygen. So this is called as anaerobic respiration. Clear? So now in humans, again in humans, in the absence of oxygen, the glucose, that is glucose will break down into pyruvate. Again that pyruvate will break down in the lack of oxygen. Whenever we are lifting heavy objects, or whenever we are doing gym, at the time there what happens, there will be the oxygen supply will be stopped. So we are getting pain, cramps in our muscles. In that time, lack of oxygen, we cannot say absence of oxygen. Oxygen will come and oxygen will go regularly. But when we lift heavy objects, at the time what happens, for temporarily the oxygen is stopped, that is lack of oxygen in muscle cells. What happens? Lactic acid is formed and energy is released. For lifting we need energy now. At that time Okay, lactic acid is formed. So lactic acid is 3 carbon molecules. It is made up of 3 carbon molecules. What is the formula? The formula is C3H6O3. These formulas are not given in your textbook, students. For that purpose, I have written separately for understanding better. Now you have understood lack of oxygen. So you told like in the presence of oxygen, carbon dioxide, water and energy is formed. It is aerobic respiration. In the absence of oxygen, in yeast it happens ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy is formed. So this comes under aerobic and this comes under anaerobic. What about lack of oxygen in muscle cells? It also comes under anaerobic respiration. Why it comes under anaerobic respiration? Because lack of oxygen. Oxygen is not present. Simple. Okay. In yeast, in muscle cells, lack of oxygen, anaerobic respiration, the glucose is breaking down, and in the presence of oxygen in mitochondria, this is known as aerobic respiration. Now you have understood
Jai Shri Ram.
Respiration are of two types: aerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. Just I want to few seconds to check some comments, and students have joined. Yes. सर केमिस्ट्री क्लास 9-10 भी पढ़ाई है ना पर्सनली आयुष सिंह ओ नाइस वेरी नाइस केमिस्ट्री आल्सो आई एम गोइंग टू कंडक्ट द क्लासेस स्टूडेंट्स थैंक यू सो मच आयुष सिंह फॉर कमेंटिंग हियर विठल यस सेड हाय यस विठल जी थैंक यू सो मच गौतम पुल्ला सेड हाय हियर गौतम हाय गौतम कल्चर एक्सप्रेस हाय यस हाय थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर वैल्यूएबल कमेंट्स. So let's continue our class 10 biology breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Now just we revise a quick review. Okay, so on this topic, the topic breakdown of glucose by various pathways. Okay, 3 pathways are there. Glucose is breaking down into 3 pathways. In yeast, in our muscle cells and in our cells. Mitochondria is present in our cell. Or in animals also. Animals also they have what? Mitochondria and all those things. Yes. Glucose. Glucose formula C6H12O6. This is the glucose formula. 6 carbon molecules. In your textbook they have written what is 6 carbon molecules? C6H12O6. C6. 6 carbon molecules, glucose. When this glucose enters the cell, when this glucose will enter the cell, C6H12O6, it will convert into pyruvate and little amount of energy is released. The glucose will be converted into pyruvate. I have told pyruvate formula I have written C3H3O3. C3H3O3. Glucose is breaking down into pyruvate inside the cell, cytoplasm. Okay, jelly-like substance. This C3H3O3, okay, that is pyruvate. When it enters the mitochondria, students, mitochondria is called as powerhouse of the cell. When it enters here, oxygen will also come in here. Oxygen is coming. Pyruvate is coming inside the mitochondria. Breakdowns of the what chemical reaction takes place, and what energy is released, water is formed and carbon dioxide gas is released. Got it? So this is the one pathway of breaking down of glucose. Glucose is converted into pyruvate. Pyruvate is what? Again in the presence of oxygen, where in mitochondria, okay, chemical reaction takes place, carbon dioxide is formed, water is formed, energy is released. In the same way, in our muscle cells also what happens? Glucose, when it enters the cell, converted into pyruvate. This pyruvate, in a lack of oxygen, lactic acid is formed and energy is released. Lactic acid, 3 carbon molecules, C3H6O3. When we are lifting heavy objects, we need energy. Okay, at the time what happens? there will be a lack of oxygen, so lactic acid is formed. Lack of oxygen, where it happens? Muscle cells. Just we have to remember, in mitochondria presence of oxygen, in muscle cells lack of oxygen, in yeast absence of oxygen. Yeast absence of oxygen and muscle cells lack of oxygen comes under anaerobic respiration. Mitochondria presence of oxygen, aerobic. Aerobic respiration, presence of oxygen. Okay, simple. Now in the yeast cells, when the glucose will enter, okay, it converted into pyruvate, that is C3H3O3 inside the yeast. What happens again? This C3H3O3 is breaks down in the absence of oxygen and ethanol is formed. Two carbon molecules C2H5OH. I have written here C2H5OH. Formula of ethanol. Ethanol is formed. Carbon dioxide is formed. Energy is formed. Students. Yes. So this is the complete topic breakdown of glucose by various pathways. This is very important for your examination. I want to tell you one more important thing. That when glucose enters the cell inside the cytoplasm, it converts into pyruvate. This process is known as glycolysis. Glucose lysis, breakdown of glucose into pyruvate. Okay, this is not given in your NCERT textbook. So this is very important topic. Compulsory you have to practice this one, and it is a very easy topic. So if you have not understood, once again you watch this video, so definitely you will understand. And the easy topic, I will make you biology very easy. Daily attend my live session 7:30 p.m. Shri Gopal Kulkarni YouTube channel. Please share this video to your friends and relations. Okay, so thank you so much for attending my class. So next meet in a next video. Until then, keep working. Definitely you will score more. Thank you. Bye bye, students.